Why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Matthew 7, verse 3 through 5. So various translations have tried in different ways to make clear the meaning of mote and beam. One version may say speck and log, another says speck of sawdust and great plank, another says splinter and plank, but the idea is clear. Why should we alarm ourselves about a little sin in another man's life when we have a big sin in our own? A story is told of a little girl who was heard praying for her brother, and she said, "Oh Lord, bless Johnny and make him as good as I am." Too often we're like this little girl. We see ourselves through different eyes than the ones for which we see others. We look at others' faults through a magnifying glass, but we turn the glass around when we look at our own. Church members are especially susceptible to this sin. We are very zealous for the traditions and the good name of our church. We want to be looked up to and respected. If a fellow member does something that is questionable, we become upset, not because the sin is so reprehensible to us, but because we want to protect our reputation. But we may be rationalizing conduct of our own that's far worse than that of our neighbor. We may be able to excuse deep-seated hatred, lust, or selfishness in our own lives while we're intensely critical about how our neighbor dresses, what he eats and drinks, or what entertainment he may be choosing. Perhaps he does need a speck of his dust from his eye removed, but how about the great plank in our own eye? Religious persecution has always been one of the ultimate arguments of the man with a great plank in his own eye, who tries, by force, to remove the speck of sawdust from the eye of another. This persecution is not limited to physical torture. It may manifest itself in the intolerance, the criticism, the fault-finding that all too often finds its way into the churches. And as always, think on these things.